Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Today, I am so excited to be joined by Natalie Barnett. She is a 2-5 projector. And y'all, this is one of the most productive projectors I have ever met. So if you are listening and you've wondered, like, how do I get more done? It's not just about the doing, it's about being smart, it's about being intentional and trusting yourself. And Natalie is going to share with us how she has built her business, and I can't wait to get into this episode. So, Natalie, welcome. Please share with everyone a little more about you.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. And thank you for seeing me as a projector. That is very valuable to me. And I feel already so amazing. So thank you for that. I'm Natalie Barnett, like you said. I'm a mom of three. So I have a almost 15-year-old son, a 12-year-old daughter, and an almost 10-year-old daughter. So there are two manifestors and one generator. So my projector-ness, like I've had to do a lot of learning there. And human design has really helped me with parenting, I think, so much. I am a coach. I'm a life and success coach. I focus in on business as well. I do a lot of things. I have a lot of different tools. EFT tapping is my absolute favorite. I am about to be in I don't know, 2 weeks from this recording, a certified clinical hypnotherapist as well, time techniques, all of these subconscious modalities that are so fascinating to me, being fascinated as a projector, kind of my whole thing. And I love it because it helps people to kind of clear away all of the programming. It's a really great tool for deconditioning from your human design too, because the way I see it, your authority, your inner voice, your inner wisdom, and your subconscious are one and the same. It's like your link to the divine. It's your link to your answers. And when you can communicate with it, amazing things can happen, whether it's for your business, whether it's for your life, parenting, whatever it is. So that's what I do. And I love all things human design. So I am like so stoked to be here.
Well, and it's so fun to hear you tell a little bit about all the things that you do because following what fascinates you. If you're a projector listening to this or have projector friends, like they say, well, what am I supposed to do while I'm resting? Or what am I doing while I'm waiting for the invitation? You go and follow what fascinates you, learn, like relax, enjoy your time. And I'm glad that you shared that because all of these modalities that you have been learning and mastering, they're going to help so many people. And I've already been seeing how you've been putting this out together in your library. So we're going to have to talk more about that. That's such an amazing tool. But I would love for you to share one of the things that I hear all the time from projectors is this idea of constantly showing up and like that energy drain. And I would love if you shared any tips or ways that you incorporate knowing what you need about yourself because of your design into your business so you can still be growing and moving forward.
Okay, so that's a great question. First and foremost, I really like talking to people. I really do enjoy creating relationships and chatting with people, especially I'm one of those people that really likes social media. So being in stories, talking to people on DMs, and it's not always about business. It's like, my fascination with squirrels. I love squirrels. So when I see a really cute one, I'll maybe post a picture or a video and I start talking to people about that, or, my favorite meals or whatever it is that I'm doing or whatever. I just really like to talk to people. So for me, that's really fun. So leaning into what is fun. And so when we talk about like finding what's fascinating to you and diving into that, that's why I'm always, learning new modalities, because I genuinely want to know. When I found out about human design, I was like, I'm going to dive deep into this because I really am just fascinated by it. But it can also be something fun. So we were chatting before. I recently last week just took 3 days off of work because I actually hired my trainer, my NLP trainer, to be my coach. And so she was taking me through a hypno breath work, and it helps me to get in touch. It helps people to get in touch with their subconscious. My subconscious mind told me to take 3 days off. That's where my intuition lives. So I'm like, okay, that sounds scary and dangerous because how are people going to know that I exist? They're going to forget about me, right? No one's going to come find me. I'm not going to be seen, recognized, all that. But I was like, no, I have to do that. So I was like, what am I going to do at this time? I watched Daisy Jones and the Six. I just watched it, just binged it. So it doesn't always have to be like, oh, I'm diving deep into something super intellectual. To me, it's like, I'm going to follow this. Oh, I'm actually really enjoying this. It can be really fun too. So that balance of learning new things, then getting on social media or my email list or my podcast and talking about what I've learned because I'm so lit up about it, like fascinated by it, and sharing that with people to create more invitations for me to, talk to them and them to see what I do, and knowing when to take a break, which truly has not always been so easy for me, but I'm getting better and better at it. Because every time I do, I get the evidence. I see the evidence of, oh yeah, this is actually productive for me. After these 3 days, I wasn't really posting on social media. Maybe I got in stories about like a squirrel or something, but I I received a text message invitation to do an in-person hypnotherapy session with like in a corporate setting, and felt really good. So I said yes to that. I had another person ask about doing a retreat together and like working on some content there. And as soon as when I came back and just decided to get on stories and tell people what I was going through and share that, it created an invitation for somebody to reach out for one-on-one coaching. So it just reinforced to me that when I take this rest, it's actually creating that space that gets to be filled with the invitations that I was looking for in the first place.
This is like straight up mic drop moment, because when you actually do this, there's so many people out there that aren't trusting themselves, whether they're a projector, generator, manifestor, mani-gen, reflector. And there's something within each of us. Every person I've talked to has something we've been conditioned to think we can't do. And I love this very tangible example that if even for 3 days you hustled as hard as you could have, who knows if those invitations would have come. But what you said that was so beautiful about creating the space for them to come in, being aligned, showing up then in that fascination and sharing with people. It was like the right things happened because you trusted yourself, because you were being in alignment. And that is the beauty of leaning into your human design in business or life or anything else, because then we do feel good, we show up well, and then the right people are going to come to us. So I'm so happy that you shared that.
Yeah, and it was actually fun too. And by the way, like I know we're all in this listening for business too, but we also have a life and we're allowed to have fun. It's allowed to feel good, and it felt good to take that break too. So while I was doing all this stuff on the back end, let the magic energy do its thing, I also was like enjoying myself, and I really needed that.
Mm.
So fun is something I'm really trying to like add more into my life.
Well, and that's so on point for entrepreneurs, for anybody listening to this podcast, because we often do work too hard, work too much. And what I love to say is that we're here to work smarter, not harder. And that looks different for each of us. So pointing out that taking that rest time and allowing yourself to have fun. I also have had the same types of experiences where I'll actually like let go on a date night with my husband, leave my phone at home. I'm like, I'm not social mediaing this date. And then I'll come back and I'll have an email or some DMs or something. So I'm so glad you shared that, because it is very important for all types, anybody who's out there listening. And yes, that is really powerful advice. If you were going to share with us maybe something that, you've been learning a lot of things about human design, you've been learning a lot of things about subconscious reprogramming and all of the powerful tools that you use. Do you have a memory of something that felt really out of alignment, that once you learned all of this stuff, you realized you needed to pivot or do something different in how your business looked?
Yes. So a couple times. And I think I just I don't know if it's luck or just like a strong enough splenic connection that I have. Maybe it took me a little longer than I should have, but I'm like, this isn't right. And I listened to it. I'm so glad I listened to it. The biggest one I can say, what first was personal, and then I'll get into a business example, but I was working as a legal assistant. I'm from outside of DC, so I was working there, and I did not enjoy it. And I had an opportunity to move down to Williamsburg, Virginia, which is where I am now, because my boyfriend at the time, now my husband, was down here. And I was like, I just knew I had to move. I knew I had to move, and I didn't have a job and had anything lined up. And I just followed that because if I had stayed up there, I knew that wasn't going to be a good path for me. So I came down, I didn't have answers. I had to find a job. I had to figure this all out, and that took some time. But now here I am, right? Like I wouldn't have changed that. I'm so proud of myself for listening to that intuition. So that's like the biggest life-changing trajectory outside of business. And then in business, now looking back, it wasn't the right thing long term for me, but I was a gymnastics coach and a director of a huge gymnastics program. I was working 9 to 5 plus nights and weekends, like not an exaggeration. It was crazy. And I was presented with an opportunity in network marketing. And I remember my spleen was like, this is it. Like it was a very powerful, like, no, this is it. This is the thing that I'm going to do. And it's going to get me all the things that I'm looking for, like time freedom, financial freedom. It's all the things. And I followed that for several years. And then I was like, okay, no, that's not it now. So I found out that I really loved nutrition. So I went back to school to learn to be a nutrition coach. I got the experience, the know-how, the knowledge about nutrition to do that really well. And that's how I started my actual coaching business. Mm-hmm. And then I followed that for a while until I had another like epiphany, like splenic hit of, I love business. I want to help women to, at the time it was like prioritize their health and their business. Like I heard you could do one or the other, but you can't do both. And my whole thing was, you take care of your health, your business will thrive. So I pivoted just like that into it. Then realized, okay, some people are getting results, some people are not. I need some different tools. And I learned about EFT tapping, and I got certified in EFT tapping. So it just, along the way, I just feel like there were these little breadcrumbs that I could have said, nah, I'll just keep going. We don't quit. We don't stop. Like that societal conditioning of just keep at it, even if you know it doesn't feel right to you. But I listened to it. And yeah, it's so real. Like a lot of us, I feel like all of us have that. And so I just kept on following those. And now I feel right now, as I am now, who knows in a few years, right? What will I be doing? What tools will I have then? But just following those little intuitive hits and just taking the next right step is that I could see in front of me. And I think that has a lot to do with the growth that I've seen in my business and in myself.
I literally am getting chills during this because the conversation around like taking the next right step is not something that we often like allow ourselves to have as entrepreneurs. And we always want to know like what's the end goal? Where are we trying to go? And there is 100% value in having an idea of what that is. But we get stuck in this perfectionistic place where we want to have every single thing figured out and get frozen, stop moving, or slow ourselves down. And what you have shared about, like, I took this step and it got me somewhere that I wanted for a little while. And then the next one, like, got me somewhere else. And they kind of kept moving. And what I really hear through this is like this evolution of you as a person, of you in your business, and giving yourself the permission, and all of y'all listening, the permission to take the next right step. Because I heard this once that we're either moving more in alignment or we're learning a lesson that we need in order to get into alignment.
Oh, yeah.
And I have also had this experience. So I deeply know it. That's why I think I got chills, because you spoke to my soul of this. Like, I thought I took this terrible wrong turn And in the end, I learned a lesson or I got a skill set or something that is helping me now. But before I had awareness or belief or understanding that that was possible, I was really hard on myself. And I believe you just gave all of our listeners the permission to like keep moving forward and know that it's all going to work out in the end.
Yeah. And I think it's when you're, and it's hard to do because that's not how we've been brought up, but like when you're, that's why knowing your human design and knowing what your authority, where do you feel your truth? Where do you feel your inner wisdom or hear it or however it shows up for you? When you follow that, even though it looks scary to your mind, I don't think you can go wrong, right? If you're following your intuition or you're following your emotions or you're following your gut, like whatever it is for you, you're not going to be led terribly astray, right? You're actually moving in the right direction.
That's so beautiful. So I want to pivot the conversation a little bit to what you're doing now in business, what you're building, because I can see, because of what I know about your human design, of why I think you're building certain things the way you are. And I wonder if you're doing it on purpose. So I would love for you to share, what are you creating? And we'll see if I'm right.
Oh my gosh, this is so fun. Okay. Okay, so right now I am in love with these different tools. So I have a mindset mastery digital library where I have, it's like a Netflix style. You just pick your own adventure, binge what you want of EFT tapping videos you can tap along with if you need to tap into more confidence or releasing imposter syndrome, whatever it is. You can follow those. I'm actually adding in, as we speak, some hypnosis audios. So you can come in there, and if you need to work on rewiring your thoughts around attracting consistent clients, because you're like, no matter what I do, I can't find clients. And even if I do, I can't find them consistently. There are just some beliefs there that we're going to rewire with these audios. And then anytime I do a workshop, all the recordings will go into that as well. And I'm opening up my one-on-one NLP success coaching offers for entrepreneurs. Like if you are working on your business and if you're new to business, if you want to start a business, or if you're plateaued in your business and you have a lot of skill sets, so you know that it's most likely not something you need to learn, but it's something you need to release and tap into in your own wisdom. I'm going to help guide you through that. I don't give you the answers. I help you find the answers for yourself. So, and then knowing what I know with human design, that really makes it really fun too. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm really doing right now, besides, doing some in-person hypnotherapy sessions and maybe some retreats coming up. So, okay. Now
you want me to break it down for you? Okay.
Yes, please.
So first of all, you are a markets environment. That's something we haven't shared a lot about. And particularly, we said internal markets. So for those of us listening, if you're a markets, there's internal markets and external. And internal is you are creating the market for people to come to, right? The space that people are coming into, versus external markets. You're creating this sort of concept of an experience. You're being very experiential. You're using a lot of your senses and things like that, a lot of options, but it's not like a place that you're creating, which your library very much speaks to that. And as a 2-5, you've both got the Hermit, which I'm renaming actually all of the profiles as I'm working on creating a human design for business report. So stick around for that, y'all. But the 2, wanting to have not only that alone time, but that being where your natural brilliance comes from. So having the ability to create these things on your own and then putting them into place where people can come to and access what they need. And layer on your 5 line being a universal problem solver. So not only liking to solve problems, but being very intentional and like, these are the problems that I can solve. And I'm going to not only solve them for one person, but I'm creating something that will help many, many people. Like I see it written all over what you're doing with your library. And especially with that 2 line, I've heard, and being a projector, but that going deep, like what I've heard over and over in projectors, like if anyone's going to go the deepest possible deepness with someone, it's going to be a projector. And doing that in that one-on-one container with all of these tools that you have, particularly helping people get to the root of what is holding them back at a subconscious level. Like all of these things, I can just see like, yep, we are on track. So it's been fun to watch because I hang out on your social media, I watch your stories, and as you've been building this thing and putting it together, like, and I've known you for a while, but as you've been building this, I can see it's like a whole different level of energy, which is also why I wanted to invite you to this podcast because I can see all of this alignment and want to share with our listeners what I can see from the outside as an aligned business coming together. And I would love for you to share how it feels seeing all of it come together.
Okay. When you were saying that, I was like I'm very visual, like vision. I see things coming to me, and what it feels like to me is, you have your favorite chair outside on a sunny summer day. Maybe there's flowers around you, and you're just easing into that chair and just like loving, just ease, flow, loving what you're doing. And maybe there's, your friends and family around you. So like, that's what it feels like. Like a very easeful, flowy, home, relaxed, purposeful, grounded feeling.
And that's, I think, something that so many entrepreneurs are trying to build, whatever that looks like for each of us. But that feeling of this is what success feels like for me. And for you, that very peaceful, grounded, like, right. The favorite chair is also a markets thing, FYI.
Oh my gosh.
Just throwing that out there. We're very selective about our seating. I'm also a markets person. And so if you might have like the chair that you study in or the chair that you go relax in or whatever. And this is your chair of success, which I love so much.
That's so cool. Okay. One thing I wanted to say on that was just, it's not always sunshine and rain, but like here's the other thing. If sometimes the rain clouds are going to come and it's going to maybe storm and you have to go inside for a little bit, but you know that it's there and you can always come back to it. So it doesn't mean I never want to give off that, everything's perfect and I never feel out of alignment, but it's just the knowing that's going to come every once in a while. It's an opportunity to shift. And then you always have that place to come back to, knowing that it's there. So don't put so much pressure on yourself to be perfect.
Yes, that is such a great addition. And I think about it too, like the seasons of the year, right? In winter, we're not always out and doing all the things. I'm not sitting in my favorite outside chair during the winter. And then summertime, it looks different. And even spring and fall, all of them feel and look a little bit different. And it's beautiful to imagine it that all of the seasons happen all the time, but we know how to move forward in each of those and know that the next one will come again. So
I love that. Thank you for saying that, because I just saw, the by the fireplace chair and then the around the campfire chair and like all the seasons. So I love that.
Awesome. Well, Natalie, if you were going to give any tip for whether it's projectors or anyone who's exploring human design in business, what would you share with them?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question. Okay. I would say off the top of my head, I would say, first of all, learn your human design because it will change everything. If you are a business owner, get your human design from Anna. She can help you with that. And I just for me, it's listen to my authority. And for me to do that as a splenic projector, I have to get away from other people, get in my own energy, clear all that out so that I can hear my intuition. And then just trust it. Just trust it. Don't let your brain get in the way. Don't let your mind get in the way of your authority. And I think you can't go wrong if you're always leaning into that authority.
And I'm just going to throw out that if your mind is getting in the way, connect with Natalie because it is a huge thing I've had to overcome. So many people that I know with human design have had to like unprogram the things they've been taught so they can be successful in life, in business, and all of the different things. So if you want to connect with Natalie, we will be putting all of her details in the show notes. And I also have an interactive human design chart that you can pull for free. That will be in the show notes as well. It is such a powerful tool. all of these things, human design, subconscious reprogramming. I absolutely think these things need to go together. And
Yeah.
Natalie, I'm so grateful for you coming and sharing all of this amazing wisdom with my audience.
Thank you so much, Anna. This was so fun.
And until next time, my friends, cheers to your success.